Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is caitom and today we are building a sort of rundown slash weathered Victorian, and also it's a little small. And if you noticed, I actually didn't include any footage of me building the shell, and that is because this is actually a shell challenge. So this is from Sincerely's 500 Victorian shell challenge on Instagram, and I thought it'd be kind of fun, and I really wanted to build something that was a little bit different than what I've been building recently. And so this popped up on my Instagram feed because I follow them and all their builds are amazing, by the way. And yeah, I just thought it'd be fun. However, I do spend a lot of time building this, which I feel like shouldn't be the case if I'm doing a shell challenge, but I guess in this case we can just say that the time that it would have taken me to build a shell has just been repurposed or something. And that is mainly repurposed to decorate a lot of the exterior and interior to make it look a little less finished and a bit more grimy and worn down and, you know, weathered. I don't know. I really wanted to make something cute, but I just started building in the vampires world, which for some reason I have come to like very much, and I am kind of sad it only has like 5 or 4 lots. I think 5 lots. But yeah, like right now I am really attempting to go with like a white and blue, very cute color scheme, but then somewhere in between now and me changing the wallpaper once again, it kind of shifts into the sort of dirty, grimy kind of build. I mean, it's not bad. I think it was really fun to build, don't get me wrong. And it was kind of like anarchy when I was placing all of the wall decorations, but yeah. So right here, I'm just changing the windows to the other set of StrangerVille windows, the ones that come with shutters, and I just thought it would look a little bit nicer just because of how tall the walls are. I kept it at a medium wall height, so I thought it would be fitting to use, you know, corresponding medium wall height windows. And I'm adding, you know, some debug trees. I don't know if they're actually debugged. They're just some trees that come with the vampires pack, and they are very not so aesthetically pleasing. I guess that's kind of when I decided, okay, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna make this lot look a little bit abandoned and just kind of go to town with how messy I can make it look. Although I guess objectively speaking, I don't really make the surrounding area as messy as I could have. I mean, I didn't know what kind of landscaping to add besides those trees, and I kind of kept most of it, well, most of the decorations just on the house. Yeah, right here I'm just in the vampires debug, just kind of seeing what I can add. I do find these very similar trees, but they have more leaves, so I do replace some of those just to give it some variation. And I am back to working on the front yard, which I don't really add much of. Oh, I do add those vampire tombstones because there's a whole backstory to this house, sort of. So the backstory that I envisioned was that there was not an older couple, just a couple in general, and they have like a small little family. Maybe they have like a newborn or an infant, but then they're suddenly struck with this condition that I think I said frozen in time because, you know, I'm sort of hinting that they're vampires, but I don't think that's how vampires work in The Sims. Like, I think they still age. I don't know. Is it obvious I haven't played with the vampires despite owning the pack? But, you know, I won't lie, I was kind of thinking of Twilight when I was building this, because I mean, look at the world. Does it not have like a sort of Forks, Washington kind of vibe, or is that just me? Anyways, the backstory. So there is a small little family that is hit with a mysterious condition that left them frozen in time, and you know, this was their house. It was, you know, I think it's small and quaint enough to feel cozy. And you'll see inside, I turn it into a sort of 2-bedroom / 1-bedroom house, although it's not functional, which was my intention. I didn't want it to be functional. I wanted it to be, like I mentioned, rundown. And that meant not actually using appliances and instead using those sort of trashy ones from, I want to say, the Werewolves debug. I'm pretty sure it's Werewolves. But yeah, if you want to download this build, it'll be on the gallery under my ID caitom, C-A-I-T-O-M. If you want to find tray files, that will also be linked down below. And you know, you can also find it under the hashtag sincerely500victorian if you want to find the shell and participate in the shell challenge yourself, or just see what other cool builds everyone has, because I think there have been a few entries so far and they look very good, and they're just a bunch of amazing builders in the community, so feel free to check that out. But yeah, here I am just kind of messing with the roof. I am really unsure of how the roof, or of how I want the roof to look like, because I know I'm calling this a Victorian, but I don't know if this is the kind of roofing that a Victorian house would actually have. But you know, I guess we can just say it's The Sims. There is a lot of creative freedom when it comes to calling things whatever you want to call them, and I am really taking that to heart. Right now I'm just adding some like minimal landscaping to the trees, just kind of adding, I think it's like a dead bush of some sort. It also comes from the vampires pack, and I thought it'd just be kind of nice to have it at the base of the tree. And I just want to point out that I almost added those debug vines from Discover University, but then I thought about it a little more, and I said, if the bushes in the front are like dead or there are no leaves, why would there be ivy on the house? So I do refrain from adding that. But I think if I was building this in a different world, I would definitely add a whole bunch of ivy just to make it seem like it's a little overgrown, and maybe it would appear a bit more cutesy than whatever grimy little house I have here. So right now I'm just working on the roof, kind of adding some plants to make it seem like, you know, it's been abandoned. And this is when I discovered that using the tool mod to rotate some plants doesn't actually rotate the plants. I don't know if I was doing it wrong, or if the plants are just not rotatable or something. But yeah, I do try it with, I think that's a debug plant, and then I also tried it on an actual plant, and both times it didn't work out correctly. Oh, I also ended up doing it on a couple of debug items on the interior, and all that did was just make it really weird whenever I tried to rotate the item. So the moral of this story is basically not everything can be rotated 360 degrees, and that's when I just decided to kind of just grab whatever I could and just start placing it on top of the roof just to make it seem like it's a little overgrown. But I think after this terrain paint, we should start working on the interior pretty soon. And while we're waiting to talk about the interior, can we like bring some attention to the 2 new kits that were teased yesterday? So I don't know if I've ever said this outright, but kits, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the concept. I do own a couple, despite, you know, me saying that. But the 2 new kits they teased yesterday were the greenhouse kit and the basement treasures kit. So this might come as a bit of a shock maybe, but I think I'm more excited for the basement treasures one, and that is only because it looks like it's gonna come with a retro looking TV. I really hope it's functional and not just a decorative item, because I've been wanting to create a whole bunch of retro style builds. Or not really wanting currently, just I know back in the day before I started uploading speed builds, I was really in love with mid-century, and I was like so obsessed with making things like a little bit retro, and you know, there's not really an old-timey retro looking TV in the base game, or really any of the packs. Although I guess the closest you could say is retro is the little, I think it's a craftable one from Eco Lifestyle. But I don't own the pack, and in my opinion, that little Eco Lifestyle TV looks really small. And when I saw the teaser yesterday about the basement treasures, I am fingers crossed hoping it's a functional TV. I mean, there's really no reason for it to not be functional, right? And as for the greenhouse kit, I am looking forward to those windows. I think it also comes with new flooring, new wallpaper, a door, and a new roof. which, you know, makes sense if we are having or not having, if we're getting all this stuff to make a whole greenhouse. You know, just some thoughts. And I guess at this point, we have to consider, is $5 really worth all the items that we're getting? And I guess once it's released and we see what other simmers have to say, we'll probably find out. So right here, I have talked the entirety of the kitchen. You know, I thought the whole talk about the kids was going to be a little bit shorter, but you know, no worries. The living room isn't really that much either, so we can just talk about both. So the kitchen, this is where I actually decide to replace the cheap appliances and put in the debug ones, because I think I placed a debug stove in the front yard, and so I thought, there's a debug stove in the front yard, why would there be a functioning one inside? And so I just really committed to making this not function at all. Don't ask me why I put a soap bottle, because would you find that in a sort of icky looking house like this? Maybe, maybe not. And as for the counters, I was originally gonna use the dirty looking ones from City Living, but you know, thinking back, it is a little bit too modern for what I had planned for this house. So I just decided to go for the base game ones, and I went for Vampire's upper cabinets, but there's really not that much of a difference between the Vampires one and the base game one, especially if it's the white swatch. There's just like a tiny little extra detail on the Vampires one. And you know, as I was furnishing the interior, I was really stuck between wanting to make this look a little bit run down while also making it look a little bit elegant. Like, I was so torn. That's why you see me use those counters, which are very, very nice, by the way. At least it looks a lot nicer than the rest of the house. So right over here, we are in the parents' bedroom. So it is a little bit bare because the room is so small, but I was able to fit a double bed, a desk, and that standing mirror. And I think later on I go back in and add a nightstand just so there's a bit more furniture in the room. And what you just saw me do there with the tool mod is rotate the mirror back a little bit so it looks like it's standing, or it's just resting on the wall, and then I bring it forward a little bit. Thank God for tool, because I don't think I would be able to do those tiny little details if I didn't have that installed. And you know, of course, if you want to download the tool mod for yourself, you can find that in the description box as well. So right here, I am realizing that maybe I should add some cobwebs. I think that also comes in the Vampires pack, so I'm just going in there, just adding some near the ceiling, near the floor. I don't know if I add any in the main living area, but yeah. And right over here is a little detail I thought I would probably consider. Maybe this is a portrait of the Sims who lived here originally. I do include a second one in the living room with different people, but the whole idea is, you know, maybe their lives ended in a bit of a tragedy, and that's why the painting has, you know, sort of fallen off the wall. And I was also considering adding like one of those rock decorations on top of the painting. And right here is a little second bedroom slash nursery that I decided to include at the very end for some reason. Because this was after I thought I finished the house, I don't actually remember to add any of the wall decorations to make it look a little bit grimy. And you know, I guess that's fine. There really isn't a ladder or way to get up here, so I mean, it's not like the wall decorations are necessary. Maybe all the events that happened that caused the family to fall to their unfortunate end has not affected the little nursery. But with that, I think we are pretty much done with the build. As always, thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's video and would like to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already, and feel free to join the Discord if you want to hang or chat with some other people who enjoy Sims content. Of course, if you want to download this build, it'll be on the gallery under my ID caitom. Tray files and details will be in the description box below. Thank you again for chatting with me, and I hope to see you guys at the next one. Bye for now.